So obviously, as most of the music world knows, Rammstein, more specifically their vocalist Till Lindemann, in some pretty hot water lately. And I haven't really talked about this a ton, mainly because I don't know the guys. I don't know the people that have made accusations. I've never been around them, so I don't know what is true and what's not. But I do want to talk about this because everybody's been asking me my opinion as somebody that works in the music industry. But that's always a slippery slope, man. Giving my opinion would be unfair based on all the things I just told you. I don't know them. I haven't been around the situation. But I do want to talk about this situation just to get everybody up to speed. I am going to keep this very objective, as I've already told you guys. We're live on Twitch right now. For those of you watching this on YouTube later, I know there are a lot of fans out there that think very strongly about this. Please be respectful. Don't get crazy. There's no need to start arguments in the comments and stuff like that. I really want everybody that watches this to come into this with an open mind and just possibly think about this, you know, from my standpoint as somebody in the music industry rather than a fan, because we know, like, as fans of certain bands, when our favorite singers or band members or whatever get accused of things, those are things we don't want to hear. We like these people. Sometimes we've probably propped them too far up on a pedestal and we want to think they can do no wrong. And sometimes this comes up, and I've seen a lot of people online going crazy. This all started a few weeks ago when there was an accusation against Till made from a user on Reddit. The short gist of it is they basically said they got invited backstage to a Rammstein concert. Sexual advances were made on them from the vocalist Till. This person denied them, and then they basically claimed that they got drugged and don't remember the rest of their night, and that they're basically sexually assaulted. This person did make it a very big deal on the internet to like blow up and make this known and talk about this. And like even made it like the bio, the info on their social media. It's like they were going very, very, very hard. And of course, like we said, a lot of people came to the band's defense. A lot of people were victim shaming, says, you know, this person is making this up for money, which I hate to see that. We have seen that has happened before in other cases, but now in turn, there's people that don't bring this stuff up because they're afraid of being shamed for it. And so, but anyways, all that aside, let's go on. So the whole after party thing is called Row Zero. The concept is that representatives of the band find quote unquote hot girls, bring them backstage to party with the band, stuff like that. What I will say, that is not an uncommon thing in the music industry. That is not a unique thing to Rammstein. I've seen a lot of people saying the band is scummy for doing this. Guys, I have seen this on almost every tour I've ever done that has a party environment. Somebody from the band, whether it's a production assistant or a band member's assistant or somebody in the crew, to get extra passes when the show's letting out, they're in the crowd just looking for basically talent scouting. Is what it is. And whoever's out there will find a group of girls and be like, hey, we got some passes. You guys want to come party with the band? And this is not an uncommon thing, man. In my experience on the road at these after parties, it's literally just been an after party. It's music, lots of booze, lots of dancing, stuff like that. I have never seen anything illegal or weird or anything that I feel like I should go to the cops or anything like that. So I can't speak to what's happening at the Rammstein after show parties, but this is not a unique thing to them. I think that needs to be buried. A lot of fucking people are doing this, dude. But anyways, so this article we're looking at says, what are the allegations against German rock band singer Till Lindemann? Police in Germany have announced they are investigating Till after several women have now come forward with allegations of sexual assault and drink spiking, as well as claims that they were groomed for sex at concerts. Till has denied the allegations, with his lawyers calling the claims without exception untrue. Rammstein has also previously responded to the claims, writing on Twitter that they could rule out the possibility of what is being claimed took place in our environment. They then issued a further statement saying they take the allegations against Lindemann extremely seriously and insisting they want their fans to feel comfortable and safe at shows. So we're at where we stand right now. The band is under investigation, more specifically Till. He is under investigation. No charges have been filed. There are several women that have come forward with these claims, all having similar stories about getting drugged or sexually assaulted or groomed at shows. And some of these women are remaining anonymous as well. And I've seen some people accuse them of being like, well, they're just doing it for money and clout and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, if that was the case, they wouldn't be doing it anonymously. But the second part of this is that Rammstein, they're known notoriously for having like really fucking good lawyers, dude. Like some of the best in the music industry, whether it comes to PR or copyright stuff or anything like that. Any normal person would not be in the crosshairs of Rammstein's lawyers without reason. Allegations against Lindemann first began following an alleged incident that took place at the band's recent concert in Lithuania. The girl, whose name is Shelby Lynn, she's 24, she's from Ireland. This is the girl from Reddit. She claims that her drink had been spiked by Lindemann, saying she had denied the rock star's sexual advances whilst at an after party and later wound up at her hotel with bruises she didn't remember getting. More allegations against Till have surfaced after, with multiple reports of sexual assault. One woman told a broadcaster in Germany that she had been backstage at a show in February 2020 when she was 22, when Lindemann asked her to join him in a secluded room before allegedly forcing her to have sex with him. Reporters also spoke to another woman, age 21 at the time of the alleged incident, who claimed she awoke in a hotel room to find Lindemann lying on top of her. She then further alleged that Lindemann's team of handlers had later offered her drugs, which she said she refused. So there's quite a few accusations going on here, man, and they do not look good. I will say that right now. This does not look good. You know, I know, again, going back to the victim shaming, a lot of people are saying like, oh, how come nobody talked about it before? Because they're fucking terrified, dude. We see this in culture a lot. Somebody said it in chat a little while ago. They're fucking terrified that people like on the internet and on other places are going to say they're making shit up, and they're going to make them, they're going to guilt them about it. And that's what's happening. Like this one girl coming out with a story, whether hers is true or not, like we don't know, it was on Reddit, that has given the confidence to other people to speak up. The series of events that have followed though, Lindemann's publisher has dropped him as a client. Explaining their reasoning in a statement, they cited both the recent accusations against Lindemann and alleged that he had featured the book he had published through them in a pornographic video, which they claimed celebrates sexual violence against women. Then a week ago, organizers from a festival in Quebec came forward and said that representatives of the band tried to ask for help in recruiting women and girls for post-concert parties during their 2010 event, which they refused. Again, that is not a unique thing to Rammstein. I will say that. Tons of fucking bands do that. There's so much more into this. There's so many things going on, but as of right now, if you're watching this, just know at the time of this video publishing, there have been no arrests or charges. So a lot of people in the music industry keep asking me what I think about this situation, and I will simply say it does not look good. Speaking of it not looking good though, the next thing I want to bring up, and this is kind of huge in my opinion of knowing how bands work. Rammstein's drummer, Christoph Schneider, has come out with a statement, and I want to read this statement. Actually, I may not read the full thing because it's pretty long, but there's a big thing in this that I want to point out that it made me go, oh, that's not good. Christoph started off by saying, "Dear people, I would like to share my personal emotions and thoughts with you. The accusations of the last few weeks have deeply shaken us as a band and me as a person. You fans certainly too. I feel as if in shock by the things that we have been shared on social media and in the press and print about our singer. This is an ebb and flow of emotions for us, band members and crew. No, I don't think anything criminally relevant, such as the use of knockout drops, happened. No, I don't think anything illegal was going on. I've never seen anything like it, nor heard anything like it from any of our crew of 100 people. All I heard from Till's parties were adults celebrating together. And yet things seem to have happened that, although legally okay, I personally don't think are okay. Certain structures have grown that went beyond the limits and values of the other band members. It is also important to us that Till's parties are not confused with our official after show parties. Till has distanced himself from us in recent years and created his own bubble with their own people, their own parties, their own projects. That made me sad, definitely. I believe Till when he tells us that he always wanted and still wants to give his private guests a good time. How exactly these guests had imagined this, however, seems to differ in some cases from his own ideas. The wishes and expectations of the women who have now come forward were probably not fulfilled. According to their statements, they felt uncomfortable on the edge of a situation that they could no longer control. I feel sorry for her and I feel compassion. However, it is important for me to emphasize something objective. Every guest in the backstage area is free to leave. They may have to wait a moment for security to lead them safely to the exit. All bottles are sealed and in full view of guests freshly opened, or they open them themselves. That's like half of his statement. And the rest of it is him talking about, like, basically defending how their parties are safe and people can leave at any time and stuff like that. Here's what I find weird about this as somebody in the music industry. The quote starts off with him basically defending Till. and saying that like we don't believe any of this. But then he makes a very, very strong, compelling argument on how and why people should separate Till from the rest of the band. That to me is a massive red flag. I hate to say that, because these guys have been a band for years and years together and they probably know everything about each other. But the fact that he talked about that for a minute and said, Till does his own thing, his parties are separate from ours, he's been in his own bubble, with his own people, with everything going on. Dude, that is, we are protecting our band if shit goes south. And it is smart, I will say that. But to me, that is not a good look for Till, for his band to be specifically making an argument for how separate all of that really is. Now, a fair point to bring up, like somebody said, is that only the truth? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know if their parties are separate. I don't know what the fuck happens on a Rammstein tour. I've never been on one. I have friends on the tour. Out of respect for them, I have not asked them anything about this, nor will I. I'm not going to put them in that weird of a position. I did see somebody in chat say a lawyer wrote that comment, probably. You're probably right. You probably are right. A lawyer or a PR person probably wrote that. But regardless of who wrote it, it was released as Christoph's statement, and it just does not look good to be distancing them from Till that much in a situation like this. That just shows me that they are trying to distance themselves as a band from Till with these specific allegations going on. Somebody in chat said also his real personality is not reflected fair, as his stage persona is probably just for show. That's a fair thing to bring up, but on the flip side of that, which I feel like it would only be fair to mention, I have seen a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, I've heard that Till is just an upstanding person in the village that he lives in Germany, and everybody says he's super nice and nobody could imagine him doing this. Well, nobody thought Bill Cosby would be doing the things he was doing either. People that knew a lot of like serial killers that are famous in the States, like Ted Bundy and stuff like that, said that they were fantastic people too. So my point to that isn't saying that because they did it, he's guilty or anything. My point is just saying you really never know what somebody could be doing behind the scenes. People have their secrets, man. People have their secrets, and they are able to hide them very well at times. Nobody just asked in chat, and that's actually a really good point. I would like to discuss that. What's the point of distancing the band from Till? It's not like Rammstein will continue without him. That is an accurate statement. If Till goes down, this band is done. I will say that. There's no way Rammstein carries on without Till as a frontman. There's no way. So why distance themselves? Legal reasons. If Till does get found guilty of this stuff, maybe they just want to make sure they don't get hit with legal charges and stuff. I don't know, man. But as of right now, with all of that out of the way, like I said, I am not going to give any kind of opinion. Do I think he's guilty? Do I think they're making it up? I'm not going to address that because, like I said, people throw out their opinions too early with stuff like this and they look stupid. I also don't want to fuel the fire and have people go nuts over stuff in YouTube comments, because we have seen instances in the music industry where multiple people come forward and cases are thrown out. You know, very recently, we've seen the Polish band Decapitated when they were on tour in the US. 2 of their band members, I think it was 2, it might have been 3, were put in jail in the US because a woman accused them of sexual assault on tour. And then it was found out that story was fabricated and they were released. I'm going to sit back and wait and see what happens. And then from there, we can go from there. But what I will leave you with, again, this is not an accusation. This is just my experience from the music industry. What I will leave you with before this video ends. I have worked in the music industry long enough and have been around a lot of different kind of people of different levels of fame. When I see stories like this, I'd be lying if I told you I was surprised. As I've said a million times, the music industry is a horrible fucking industry filled with horrible people. Not the whole thing. I'm just saying the industry itself does indeed have horrible people in it. I'm not trying to say everybody in the music industry. And this happened recently in Nashville as well. There is a country artist in Nashville named Jimmy Allen who recently was accused by his ex-day-to-day manager of basically sexually assaulting her for 2 years. And when people were like, 2 years, she's like, yeah, he used his power and his like level of fame and influence over me to put me in positions to do things that I didn't feel comfortable doing. Dude, that's a thing, man. People know how much power they have and people know how much influence they have over others. People know how to sweet talk. People know how to make, you know, people get into awkward situations. Look at what's happened in Hollywood We've seen people go down over the years because they're like, hey, you want to get ahead? Do this for me. Like, this shit happens, man. Now, the same thing in this Jimmy Allen situation. I have worked with Jimmy. I've never toured with him, but I've like worked with him on shows. I've teched his guitars for him, but I don't know him well as a person. So I'm not going to say whether I think he did or didn't do this as well. But just going back to what I was saying, when I hear these stories, I am not surprised. And again, I just say that from experience. Like, I have been very fortunate in my touring career to not be in a position where I feel awkward or have seen anything that is illegal or I feel like I need to report or anything like that. But the music industry is a small place. We all talk. We all know each other. I've heard horror stories from people being in weird situations with people. And again, I'm glad I never have been, but it is fair to say that whether these instances we've talked about in this video are true or not, there are things like this happening in the music industry every day. And we need to take these allegations seriously instead of just assuming that people are making shit up for money and fame.